So Kill Team Elites was just announced, and I'm hunting around for some information. I'm sure Games Workshop is going to drop more in the coming days on the WarhammerCommunity.com site. I kind of wonder where they're going to go with this. And if you've been following some of my podcasts from the week before, vlogs from before that, I am a big fan of Kill Team, the current incarnation, and over the various editions of 40K, other variations of it. This idea of taking your model collection, and I'm a big fan of this, taking your model collection, whatever the army is going to be, wherever you are in 40K right now, and using it outside of, beyond a regular 40K game. And I define that as what you play with your buddies weekly, taking your models, taking my models, taking someone else's models, pooling them into a big game. 3, 4, 5, 6 players on each side. Just a mass of models. And on the opposite side, something where 5 models, a squad, working independently, very, very small. I also really enjoy Kill Team in smaller games of 40K because, admittedly, we're with a pretty competitive 40K group, and I mean that in a good way. But certain players that I play with, and I love, they're my fellow battle brothers out there. I'm not going to name any names. But if I lose, right, if I lose to playing against them, that means I go an entire week without revenge. And I have to go an entire week of hearing all about it. Their amazing tactical powers and everything. We play one game of 40K, we can only get one in an evening. With Kill Team, we can get in a couple of games, at least on there. So I like to mix it up. But the challenge and what I wonder about, Kill Team is kind of a spin-off from the genesis of it, anyway, 4th edition 40K, where you had an elite team going up against essentially some wound counters, some brutes that acted in a certain way, controlled by 2 players. And in this iteration of Kill Team, although it was very simplistic compared to the name Kill Team now, and certainly it's evolved way beyond anything, but Kill Team right now and the previous version of Kill Team, it was models that were in this same bracket of power on there that could be taken out in theory by any other model. Now, of course, you want to engage 3-to-1. You want to leverage as much dice. There are fundamental tactics to Kill Team, and I've pushed those up on my podcast underneath the Warhammer 40K playlist. From Kill Team in 4th edition, we jumped to Combat Patrol. And for those of you who have been in 40K for a while, the idea behind Combat Patrol was you had small infantry-type units, but you had some units that were a little bit more crunchy, a little bit more elite-like. You could take 2-wound models out there. You could take light vehicles. That's when we had armor facings, and you had to add them up, and they couldn't be past 33. But what that meant was you could take a land speeder with Typhoon missiles and a heavy bolter if you were a Space Marine player. And the firepower and the range just could not be countered if you were playing Space Wolves. You could take missile launchers or Devastators and just cycle out between frag and crack and lay down crazy firepower. So this escalation up of a little bit beyond more the rank and file units on there, the stress points started to show. So that's my fear now, where bringing in some more powerful characters, and specifically in the release they were talking about Terminators. I mean, I'm in. I would love to play Terminators on there. I'd love to recreate some Space Hulk action with more tactical, pull out those Space Hulk tile sets, right? With some more tactical decisions. Not that Space Hulk is a bad game. I love Hulk from that perspective. But I'm just a little bit concerned about the internal balance. And we'll see how they address it. My second concern is the dice in 40K. Now, certainly regular 40K, you leverage a lot of dice. You've got a lot of dice. In Kill Team, it's less dice, but it is still a D6-based system. So I'm just a little bit afraid of, will I have enough stuff to take down some of these elites? And on the converse, the flip side, if you spend to get these elites on the table, are you going to have enough dice mass to deal with the other stuff on there? Especially since resource management is so important in a Kill Team type game with tactics and how you're playing and what you're moving. So I'm curious. I am curious. I'm happy to see it. It looks like a decent, nice-sized expansion. I'll be playing it. We'll be doing it. But it'll be interesting to see how Games Workshop addresses the balance this time around with it.